We continue to progress through earnings season, which by the end of this week, more than 50% of the S&P 500 will have reported their numbers. And the companies that have reported thus far, a nearly 70+% have beat analysts' expectations. But like we see in any earnings season, earnings can bring volatility. You could have a company that completely blows away analysts' expectations, but they issue weak guidance and it could tank the stock. So we need to be ready for anything. And that brings us to our favorite video every single month, which is going to be talking about top stock picks for the coming month. But before we do that, let's go revisit our picks from July, which those stocks included Alphabet, The Trade Desk, Qualcomm, Northrop, and McDonald's. And as you can see from this chart, if you follow these picks, you're probably pretty pleased. Shares of The Trade Desk climbed more than 20% in the month. Northrop shares shot up nearly 15%. Alphabet up nearly 10%. And the laggards were McDonald's and Qualcomm, which were up right around 1 to 2%, marginally on the month. Pretty solid month of July for those particular stock picks. But now we come in to August. And on the horizon is September, which is historically a rough patch for the S&P 500, so we need to be mindful. As such, in today's video, I'm going to be talking about 2 stocks and 2 ETFs to consider adding to your portfolio heading into the month of August. But before we dive into those, do me a huge favor. Show your appreciation for the videos by simply clicking that like button down below. Subscribe to the channel, and let's jump into it. Hey everyone, Mark Roussin here, back for another video. As always, I'm a CPA and not a financial advisor, so please do not take this as financial advice. And when it comes to investing, there is so much information out there for investors these days. And you can grab information from a number of different resources, but that could be both tiring and not that efficient. But what if I told you all of this information could be available to you at your fingertips, all at one place? And that one place is fiscal.ai. I work exclusively with fiscal.ai anytime I'm analyzing or valuing a stock. Whether I want to see a breakdown of Alphabet's segment revenue, or I want to check out Apple's operating margins, numerous valuation metrics for Amazon, or how many subscribers the likes of Spotify has, I can find all of that information and more utilizing fiscal.ai. They have literally taken my investing research to the next level, allowing me to dive even deeper into particular stocks. And you could try it all out for free. They have a 2-week trial. And after that, by utilizing my link down in the description below, you can get 15% off any paid subscription. This is one subscription you're not going to regret. All right, let's jump back into our video taking a look at 2 stocks and 2 ETFs to consider buying for the month of August. And the way the market's looking right now based on valuation, it just looks tired. We're not seeing as big of moves when companies give solid reporting and solid guidance. Look at Alphabet. That was a decent report and decent guidance. It moved up by maybe 200 basis points, but not all that much. The market is looking a bit tired here. So I'm expecting some volatility here heading into August and especially into September, which is historically the worst performing month for the S&P 500. So let's get started with our first stock, which is going to be PayPal Holdings, stock ticker PYPL. And when it comes to PayPal, they are a leading fintech company. And in today's society, we are moving more and more away from cash and more to a cashless environment. The company operates out of the financial sector and currently has a market cap of $75 billion. Over the past 12 months, shares are up 33%, but year to date, down 9%. PayPal shares haven't really participated in all of the gains that we've seen through the first 7 months of 2025. But again, from an investor standpoint, a long-term investor standpoint, this can be viewed as an opportunity to accumulate shares. We are again moving more away from cash and to a cashless society, and PayPal is becoming an option everywhere online. Here's a snapshot from the company's most recent earnings, showing volume continuing to climb to $417.2 billion during the quarter, which resulted in revenues of $7.8 billion for the company. Total payment volume is a key stat to watch, and you can look it up utilizing fiscal.ai. As you can see here, the TPV for the company has exploded over the past decade from $281 billion to $1.7 trillion over the trailing 12 months. This has obviously led to higher revenues, but more importantly, record margins. Not only is the company growing revenues, but they're finding ways to be more efficient, which is what I love to see as an investor. Now for valuation, where things look quite interesting. The company trades at a forward PE multiple of 15.2 times, well below their 5-year average of 24.5 times. EV to EBITDA sits at 12.2, which is pretty much half their 5-year average of 25.6. Both metrics drastically below the company's 5-year average. And again, even if shares don't just skyrocket from here in the next month, this is an opportunity to buy a high-quality company at a great valuation. But when it comes to my buy price target for PayPal, that'll be around $70 per share, which sits right around their 200-day moving average. And that leads us to stock number 2, which is going to be Schlumberger, stock ticker SLB. And when it comes to SLB, they operate out of the energy sector, which has been a major laggard, both year to date as well as over the past 12 months. But seasonality-wise, September especially, and even August has been a rough patch, and we could see some profit taking, which doesn't mean we have to sell out of all of our positions and just go to cash, but we could see a lot of investors start to move to more defensive, more areas that have lagged the market, taking profits and reallocating it to an area like energy. Schlumberger operates out of the energy sector. They have a market cap of $53 billion, and over the past 12 months, shares are down 25%, and year to date, down 6%. So this stock, over the past 12 months, is doing worse than PayPal. However, year to date, they could say they are realistically outperforming them, but still red on the year. And a lot of that has to do with the volatility that we have seen in oil prices. When it comes to this administration, they are obviously bullish on energy. And one of the growth drivers for Schlumberger moving forward is going to be more offshore drilling. Now, maybe that doesn't come in 2025, but it's going to continue to pick up into 2026, which could be a tailwind for the company. Now for valuation, where things look downright cheap. SLB shares trade at a forward PE multiple of 12.7 times. This well below their 5-year average of 16.4 times. EV to EBITDA sits at just 8.1 times. Again, below their 5-year average of 12.5. Again, both metrics drastically below their 5-year average. And with this stock, you also get a nice sized dividend, which currently yields 3.2%. And when it comes to my buy price target for SLB, it's pretty much where it is right now. Ideally closer to $33, but a $36 price target is not a bad valuation whatsoever to start a small position. So now we're going to move away from stocks and move over to ETFs. So ETF number 1 is going to be the iShares Core Dividend Growth ETF, stock ticker DGRO. Now, some of you may be surprised not to see SCHD here. And although I think SCHD could be good here moving into the next few months if we see volatility uptick, we talk a lot about SCHD. So how about we mix it up? And plus, I like the setup here for DGRO a little bit better. When you compare DGRO to the likes of SCHD, you're going to get less of a yield, but there's more gain potential from a share price appreciation given the stocks they invest in. When it comes to DGRO, the ETF has assets under management of $33 billion, and over the past 12 months, shares are up 11% and up 8% year to date, pretty much in line with the S&P 500 so far. Here's a look at the sector breakdown for DGRO. Financials makes up 20%, technology 19%, healthcare 17%, staples 11%, and industrials at around 10.5%. You get a nice blend at the top. As you can see, the top positions include JP Morgan, Microsoft, Johnson & Johnson, Apple, Exxon, Broadcom, AbbVie, Procter & Gamble, the Home Depot, and Merck. Big banks, tech giants, semis, discretionary, staples, healthcare, it's all mixed in within the top 10. And those top 10 holdings account for 27% of the ETF, and in total, it has 405 positions. When it comes to the dividend, the ETF pays $1.42 per share, which equates to a 2.2% dividend yield, and they have a 3-year dividend growth rate of 11%. Because of how well-rounded this ETF is, it can perform well in good times and rocky times. And that leads us to ETF number 2, which is going to be the Healthcare Select Sector SPDR ETF, stock ticker XLV. And why am I looking at healthcare so closely, you might ask? Well, let's take a look. As you can see here, over the past 12 months, only two sectors are in the red: energy and healthcare, with healthcare being down the most, down 9%. We have seen investors go full risk on. Many high growth stocks are flying high, and many defensive sectors are lagging behind. But with that volatility expected in August as well as September, we could see a little bit of shuffling taking place. XLV currently has assets under management of $34 billion, and over the past 12 months, shares are down 10% and down 2% so far in 2025. The sector breakdown for XLV is pretty simple. It's 100% invested in healthcare-related stocks. The top 10 positions include Eli Lilly, Johnson & Johnson, AbbVie, United Health Group, Abbott Labs, Merck, Thermo Fisher, Intuitive Surgical, Amgen, and Boston Scientific. A lot of the names I like at the top. I really like numbers 1 through 6. In total, the top 10 holdings account for 55% of the ETF, and it has 61 total positions. Healthcare stocks tend to pay dividends, so with XLV, you get to enjoy that as well, as they pay a $2.39 per share dividend, which equates to roughly a 2% yield, and they have a 3-year dividend growth rate of 8%. Again, this is more of a short-term focus investment, not something that I expect to have long-term, as if we do in fact come across rocky times, we could see investors not only take profits, but reshuffle some of that money towards laggards. Healthcare has been a major laggard year to date and over the past 12 months. So down in the comments section, let me know which of these 4 stocks, give me one ETF and one individual stock you are looking to buy in the month of August. And if you haven't done so yet, make sure you join my Stock Investors Edge newsletter. We have a free version as well as paid, where you can see my entire holdings from A to Z, and you can check out all of my option trades as well down in the description. Thanks so much for joining. If you haven't done so, please, I'd greatly appreciate it if you hit that like button. It really helps with the growth of the channel, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.